being wrongfully accused, and ending up in the gotcha paper. My guest today is Pumpkin Green and Wendy Wright. Each person you see up here has been wrongfully accused of something, whether it was out of envious, jealousy. You know, you're not only hurting the person, you're hurting the people, families. You know, they have kids. The kids is left without a parent, and half of the time they only have one parent, which is the mother. And you know, some people don't think about the consequences until it happens to them.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
It's like, okay, I can be just as devious as I want to be, but you know, I won't feel the effect until it happened to me. You know, and some people just got the mentality that, you know, I don't care. You know, but I care. You know, if I did something, I did it. You know, and I'd rather you say what I did, but to just put just a lie out that's you know, everybody can really roll with it and really believe it. Don't want to hear the truth. Don't want, even when you can be found not guilty, that same lie is gonna still go on.
Right, because we prefer to hang on. My question, that the thing that I would pose to people is to ask, you know, we're always talking about, oh, the crab in the bucket. Are you that crab? Are you that crab?
Good question, Wendy.
Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of work that we need to do to make sure that we're straight going forward in the next, you know, 8 years, 8 years, whatever. We'd much rather keep pulling each other down. Even so, you know, my challenge would be, excuse me, to ask yourself, ask myself, am I that crab? You know, what am I filtering out there? Because you need to realize what you put in the universe will come back to you.
Right.
So if you wrongfully accuse me today, guess what? I'm still going to elevate the next day.
Keep it moving.
And I'm going to keep it moving.
You know, somebody told me, you know, when I had this conversation, you know, about me being wrongfully accused, but I can't discuss it now. I wish I could, but I can't.
Right.
You know, when you being around certain people, and it's not, you know, people always say, don't forget where you come from. It's not, I'm forgetting where I come from. And I tell people that all the time. I came from my mama. So I'm never going to forget her, you know. And I can't sit there and stay in the same spot all day long because you don't want to move. You know, I have to continue. But I realized if I'm the smartest person in the group, I need to leave the group. I need to find me some more friends. If I'm sitting here and I say, Pumpkin, I want to write a book, and all Pumpkin want to talk about is who got to fight at the club. I need to leave Pumpkin alone because you know, me and her have nothing to talk about. We on totally two different. We on totally two different pages. But when I separate myself from Pumpkin, I become this bitch. You know, so I'm gonna fix her.
That's right.
I'm gonna fix her. So then, you know, you start elevating the lies, and you know, you know, back when she did this and back when she did that. If I did all of this back when, why didn't you say it back then? What I did, you know, why you wait till you get mad and then you want to create stuff, you know, and tell stuff then, you know, but you never mention it during the time that it was allegedly happening.
Absolutely
Because it's so that people can judge you based on that. So then people start judging you on that, and then everybody talking about you.
Right.
And then sometimes you got liars that are believable liars.
Oh my God.
So the person that
the
person that I had my situation with was a believable liar because I was around her for 2 years and I listened to her lie.
Right.
You know, so I feel bad now because I think about some of the things that was said and done, and I actually sat there and listened to it. But it's like, in reality, now look at me. Look what I had to go through with this same person.
Right.
So it's really, really unfortunate, you know. Something that because I you know, my goal a lot of times is to keep Pumpkin encouraged, because I know that there's a lot that goes out there. I see it, and it's the first unfortunate thing is, like I said, there are so many voices out here that people are putting out. Oh, I'm a voice of Richmond. I'm a voice of Richmond. Why can't we unify and become a unified voice? Why does it have to be, you know, the negativity thrown into it? You know, I tell people, you know, I have, you know, some people are like, oh, I don't burn bridges. I don't burn bridges. I don't necessarily burn bridges unless they don't lead me to anywhere. So at the end of the day, if I'm not staying stuck in what happened in the past and my story, why are you staying stuck in it?
Yeah.
You know,
It's
at
not
some
your
point,
story.
it's not your
Yeah.
story.
It's
So
not your
at
story
some
to tell.
point in time, you gotta let go of that power because they feel like holding on to something negative, regardless of how you were found guilty or not guilty, it's not your story. It is not your story. Everybody has a story.
Right, but my thing is this. With you telling my story or you think you know my story, what can you do to help me out?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? What is it that you can do? You know, they be so quick to say, oh, girl, you know, Miss Ghetto Gossip got locked up. Oh, girl, you know this, that. Okay, did you ever say, girl, you know Miss Ghetto Gossip got some teenagers and got a group, you know, where she, you know, getting kids off the street. You know Miss Ghetto Gossip gave away shoes for back to school. You know Miss Ghetto Gossip. No.
They're not going to talk about that.
No, because it's boring.
Exactly.
It's
People
boring.
love drama.
Right, it's boring.
They love drama.
You know, so if it's nothing that, you know, that they can run back and tweet it and Facebook it, you know, they don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear the good stuff.
Last I checked, I didn't know anybody in Richmond working for National Enquirer. You know, getting paid. And that is, like I said, that's the unfortunate thing is that they would much rather hold on to the negative.
Right.
Regardless of whether they know what they're talking about or not.
Yeah.
They much rather hold on.
I can tell you something. I can just say one thing. And you gonna tell Pumpkin, but that one thing I told you gonna turn into two things.
Sure is.
Pumpkin and it's gonna be three things. And by the time it end up, it's gonna be a whole story. And you be like, well, who really sits and make this stuff up? You know,